Very cool. Yeah, come on, Matt Micheletti! You had a lot of prenatal subject matter in your set.
My wife's ovaries are in overdrive.
The biological clock is ticking and it's leaking into your set.
It is. It's kind of like osmosis.
Sure.
It's like the Avatar thing where they touch tails, except it's in the sleep, and she just tries to smother me until I put a baby inside of her.
Wow. That's how it works, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's what they taught me in high school.
Yeah, right. So you went to high school where? You said at
Manteca, California.
Manteca, California.
Yeah.
And it's literally the word for lard?
Lard in Spanish. If you go to Safeway and buy a brick of lard, it'll say Manteca on the top.
And you're like my alma mater when you look at it. That's amazing. And did you really, were you really a weatherman in Tucson?
I was a weather forecaster for the U.S. Air Force for a little under 4 years.
What is the natural lineage from weatherman to comedian? It's, again, we mentioned Letterman earlier. One of my heroes, Letterman, also a weatherman.
I would venture to say lots of crying. It's a boring job in Tucson predicting the weather. But luckily, I forecasted mainly for Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. So it was.
So you were an outsourced weatherman.
Yeah, we did weather forecasting for a lot of rich generals that wanted to know if they could go play golf on Saturdays. So,
Wow, that's really unique. So you didn't have the benefit of being in the weather.
No, thankfully, no, yeah. That would be interesting, being in the weather, forecasting the weather.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't say, like, you were going to say it's going to rain tomorrow, right? Are you guys looking out the window?
Right.
It looks like it's going to rain, right? That's really crazy.
Yeah.
So you came up to Phoenix, how'd you get into stand-up? You had mentioned that it was kind of a coping mechanism for being introverted. But.
Yeah, it actually was. My first experience with comedy was actually with First Friday Night Live.
Cool.
And at the time, I was still living in Tempe, and my girlfriend then at the time, before we got married, decided to come to First Friday for the first time, and on a whim, we went to the Firehouse Gallery, rest in peace, and went and saw FF&L for the first time, and it was this crazy, beautiful, hilarious outdoor show. And 3 months later, I was on the cast and did my first season with them. And then the next season I started doing stand-up all over town.
Wow, I believe that's exactly what happened for Joe Piscopo as well, right? He just went to an SNL one day and was like, I want to be in it. And then he was in it.
There you go.
But so you went to do stand-up. Where did you go do stand-up in town? I mean,
back then it was a lot of coffee shops. I performed a lot at Lawn Gnome and Conspire. Back when they still did the shows on a couple of pallets in the front of Lawn Gnome before they had the backyard. And that was a lot of fun, doing shows with Franny and Fripp, who is out on the East Coast now. There's a couple of people in here that know that name. So yeah, it eventually moved on from there. I do occasionally do some shows in some of the comedy clubs here in town, but mostly I kind of try and stick to my own DIY roots and do mostly, bar shows and
that's very
things
cool.
like that. So.
Would you say, Phoenix isn't known as being a big comedy city? You have your Boston and Philly.
Not yet, yeah.
Not yet. Well, what are some moves that folks like you are making to get that to happen?
I think one of the biggest things that we've done here in Phoenix, specifically, and not we, I had no part in it, but Genevieve Rice is a brilliant comedian here in town, and she started the Bird City Comedy Festival last year, and it's coming up again in April of this year. So we're going to have a couple of really amazing headliners out from all over the country. We get comics together from all over, so it's a very inclusive feel.
Last year, Dana Gould was last year?
Last year, yeah, Dana Gould was
Very
last
cool.
year's featured headliner. They had Beth Stelling on there. There was a lot of really amazing people from all over the country, and I think as the clubs kind of open up to more and more comedy styles, I guess, you'll start to see more of these people out here.
Who are your your go-tos, your favorites, your inspirations?
I love Bill Hicks. I grew up. My dad used to play Bill Hicks for me on long car rides.
For Bill Hicks, good for Bill Hicks. Yeah.
Why not? Why not? He can hear us totally from beyond the grave.
Right.
Bill Hicks. My parents were, products of the 50s and 60s. So I dare I say, Bill Cosby. Every one of his records I heard a million times.
Sure.
As a kid. Carlin. I love things like emo, Emo Phillips, and just really wacky, zany humor.
Emo Phillips.
And
let's just start naming comedians and see how
I don't know. It's just, I love the old golden age style of comedy. As far as like
Dat fan? No.
Winner of Last Comic Standing. No. Newer comedians, I am ashamed to say that I don't really get out to clubs enough to see them just because I'm broke all the time.
Well, but not only that, and I hear stand-ups say they often don't like to watch other people's acts. They don't want that to, speaking of osmosis, get into their brains and adapt those voices. They want their own unique voice. So.
Yeah, and you have to have a life to do that. So you have to get out and get yourself involved in lots of weird shit. And
sure.
Have jokes about it.
Absolutely, and you're living the life is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
How has that changed your writing dynamic, being married? Let me ask you this. Can you perform with your wife in the audience?
Yeah, she's here tonight.
Oh, she's here tonight. Well, let's give it up for Matt's wife.
Affecting my writing style, I've been with her since I started doing comedy. We've been together for about 12 years. We were dating for about 10, 11 years off and on before we actually got married, so not a whole lot's changed. So.
There's never a time when you tell a joke and then you have to go home and apologize for the joke.
No, she can take a joke. She's actually given me a lot of my punchlines, throughout the years.
Just, very cool. Yeah.
And told me, no, please don't ever tell that again.
So what can we plug? You said Bird City.
Bird City is coming up in April. In terms of stuff I'm responsible for, I guess, would be First Friday Comedy Hour over behind Lawn Gnome, 10 p.m. to 11 every first Friday. I also run a show out in Miami, Arizona, a little ghost town show out there that's super fun. I do that about once every 3 months.